Welcome back, guys, to another video. Long story short, I'm going to cut to the chase. I'm cooked, the market's cooked, you're cooked, we're all cooked. And if you sell options like I do to try to generate an extra income stream, you might be pretty nervous around times like these where the general market's down. It seems like sentiment is now down, especially when we've been living in a bull run for the last 5 years. It's really easy to get caught up in that and think everything's going to go up perpetually. And then when days like these come along, or weeks like these, or months like these, we don't know how long this is going to go for. It's a little bit daunting. And before we get into what I'm doing during this when it comes to selling options and all that good stuff, and how much I made today in premium, even though the portfolio is down over 10 grand, hit that like button. That way this reaches more people. I make absolutely no money right now making these videos. I also host this free web app for you guys to use. We'll see how you can use it here in a second for yourself if you're interested. But I'm trying to finally get this channel monetized, which I need more watch hours. And the only way for me to get more watch hours is if you like this video so it reaches more people, and also share it with, like I said, I think in the last video, share it with your aunt who you may be falling out with. Maybe before you called her a loser and you follow up and you say, well, you know what would not make you a loser is if you started selling options. Give her that confidence back. I don't know why I'm always picking on the ants. Anyway, speaking of feeling like a loser, the portfolio is down almost 19 grand. A lot of it happened actually recently after hours. A lot of it is from crypto being down, both Bitcoin and Ethereum that I own. We also have Robinhood down almost 10% because a lot of people buy and trade crypto on Robinhood. So if people are feeling more bearish about it, they're going to be affected. I've been selling a lot of options on BMNR, which is an Ethereum treasury. So I'm very heavily following what's happening in the crypto world with a lot of my trades. And if we look at my options chains here and all of the options that I have sold, some of these are now in the money. So BMNR, this $39 strike put that I sold, I actually made $55 selling this. It expires this Friday. It has gained value significantly. So I sold this for 55 bucks. Someone gave me 55 bucks for this. I thought that was a good deal. And I'm getting 55 bucks by saying, for those of you that are new to selling options, hopefully there's a few of you watching this, and I really do appreciate you trusting me with your time to try to learn selling options. What I'm basically saying here is I'm willing to purchase 100 shares of BMNR stock at $39 a share if BMNR goes below $39. So I'm selling kind of like an insurance policy for someone's stocks. And just like when you insure your car, you pay a premium every single month for your insurance. And whether or not you end up using that insurance, because let's say you don't get in a wreck, which people don't usually do every single month, that premium just disappears. And then you look at the next month, paying premium again, and then the next month. I'm taking that same concept and I'm applying it to the stock market world. And I'm giving people an insurance policy and they're paying me in premium for basically insuring their stocks in case they dip. And I'm willing to scoop them up at a agreed upon price by an agreed upon date, this one being this Friday. And thus I made 55 bucks. But that insurance policy went up a lot because now all of a sudden this is in the money. And the buyer of this put can say, I want to exercise my right to sell you 100 shares now that BMNR is below $39. And this is the opposite that you're probably used to in the stock market. You want things to start off low and end high. However, this is the opposite. You want to start high, in our case 55 bucks, and eventually go down to zero, making this contract worthless, and then we move on to our next trade. But now it's the opposite because we went from 55 to 143. So if I were to sell an additional one of these, which I could do tomorrow when the markets open back up, I would make $143 selling an additional put versus the 55 I made selling it originally. And there is a chance that BMNR goes back up and recovers by this Friday and goes back up above $39 a share, and this thing eventually just ends up useless and worthless, and it expires completely worthless, and I move on looking for my next trade. And high level, that's what I've been doing for the last year and a half, selling options like this, making income, and taking that income and throwing it back into my favorite stocks. But now, what can I do that this is in the money to try to avoid actually purchasing those shares. What I can do, and it says right here, I can roll this position. So this is something I typically do when I either get pretty close to being in the money or slightly in the money, is I consider rolling the position, which is basically buying back my original position. So buying back this put, and I would pay $143. That way I no longer have that obligation to buy 100 shares at $39. And I would look at opening and selling a brand new fresh put. So I would look at a different expiration date, typically farther out. So let's go 24 days out instead of this Friday. Let's look at November 28th, and let's look at a lower strike price, giving myself more of a buffer. So in our case, maybe I'm more comfortable with a $36 strike price. So for this one, selling this brand new would get me $260. What's great about rolling, and what I really like, is you're giving things more time to play out. And unlike buying options where time's not really on your side, selling options to me is the opposite, where time is on your side, because I'm giving this more time to play out in my favor. So not only am I going to a lower strike price and thus making me no longer back in the money, but I'm also getting extra income doing so, because if I bought back the original for 143 and I sold a new one for 260, the difference there, 260 minus 143, is how much extra hits my account if I execute this trade. So I get an additional $117 making this trade by giving myself more time and more of a buffer. And if you like what you're hearing, I actually started a private chat group to chat about selling options, show off some of my trades. You can get my thoughts real time. If you're interested in checking that out, it'll be linked down below. I thought I would plug it in case you want to talk more and pick my brain and pick other people's brains about selling options. In my early days of selling options, I used to track all of my trades I made, including if I were to execute something like this in a spreadsheet. And that took way too long when I started trading more and more. So then what I did is I came up with this website. It's on selloptions.net. And if you sell options on Robinhood, you can feel free to use it too. Basically, all you have to do is create a statement on Robinhood. And that statement can span any time that you would like. In my case, I created a statement that was just today alone, and I'm going to upload it. And here, it instantly calculates how much I made from selling options. So instead of me having to manually enter it, I download a statement, upload it here, and click a button. And I know this is nothing compared to how much I'm down in the portfolio, but I think price action in the portfolio is temporary, while me generating income is permanent. This permanently hit my account, and I literally got $423 from selling puts today. And here are all the different ticker symbols that I ended up selling options on, and how much I made from selling options on these different ticker symbols. We can see BMNR is $193 worth, and then HIMS, SoFi, Opendoor, and Chipotle. Chipotle got hit recently. BMNR obviously got hit recently. HIMS had a bit of a mixed earnings, so I think I ended up rolling some of my puts I previously sold, just like I shown here, and I made some extra income doing so. SoFi, I believe I sold some brand new puts, and so on and so forth. So that's what's going on today. Thank you so much for listening to me talk about selling options. One of my favorite things to talk about. And like I said, if you enjoyed this, please hit that thumbs up. Check out our private chat group. Check out this website if you want to. There's also pretty cool calculators to help determine how much you're making if you're thinking about selling a particular option. And I hope to see you in a future video.